Alright, my name is Todd from Go2 Cards, and today we are talking about selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Can you profit? How do you profit? That's what we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to go through a lot of different theories, practical things, but I'm not going to go over how do you sign up to be a seller on TCG Player? How do you sign up to be a seller on eBay? Those are very simple things. If you just, give yourself like 2 hours, you'll be able to sort through that. If I can do it, you can do it. We're going to be talking about other things. We're going to be talking about some theories, some practices that I find helpful. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of this community. Also, that like button does help us out tremendously. In this video, I'm going to try and be as honest with you as I can, which you may or may not like, but that's just how it is. If I'm going to tell you about how to sell cards, I gotta have to do it pretty honestly. So the first thing that I want you to know is I do this as a hobby. This is not my full-time job. I sell cards as a hobby. I love doing it. I do it with my two boys, and we have a ton of fun doing it. It's a hobby for us. We did create a business out of this, but it is, for the most part, it's a hobby. I have a full-time job that I work. So I have a full-time job. I sell cards on eBay and TCG Player, and we do YouTube. But eBay and TCG Player and YouTube, those are hobbies for me. They do not pay my bills. Do we make money doing it? Yes. And we make a decent amount of money doing it. But it is not what pays my bills. So I do it as a hobby. You need to know that up front. But we do make money doing this. A couple of things that I think are important for you to know before we jump into the ins and out of doing this. Look, if you don't love sorting cards, if you don't love opening up packs, if you don't love putting different cards together, making decors, all that sort of thing, if you don't love this game, do not do this. Do not do this, okay? If you are lazy and you are just looking for a really easy way to make money, there are a bajillion easier ways to make money. Do not do this. This is not easy, and the money that you make is not like enormous. Thirdly, if you are not organized, if you do not, if your cards are laying on your floor and they're spread out everywhere, they're thrown into a box somewhere, or you got cards in like 15 different rooms, do not do this. You're going to have to be really organized with your cards. If you are not a gambler, if you do not enjoy the risk of putting out a decent amount of money, hoping to make it back and make a profit, do not do this. What I mean by this is if the thought of spending $1,000 and getting only $800 back, if that makes you sick, if you've got knots in your stomach, if you're just rolling over, you're just like, I can't do that, do not do this. You are gambling when you decide you're going to buy a product and you're going to flip it. All right? If you are using your rent money to do this, if you are not paying your electric bill to do this, do not do this. You should be using your fun money, your extra money to do this. I think that's kind of all the do not do this if. And then the last couple of things is be realistic. Be realistic in your hope of return. So if you're spending $800 on a case, you should reasonably expect, or the hope should be, that you're going to make 1,000. Meaning that your profit is going to be about 200, and that's it. If you're going into this thinking you're going to buy a case and you're going to flip that case for 1,500 or 2,000, it's not going to happen. So be realistic. Your aim should be for a case $200 profit. That's it. Obviously, if you buy more cases, your profits go up. But be realistic in your hope of return. The last thing on this is be willing to work that case. If you buy a case, your job is to work that case for all that it is worth. And you are going to work. There is a lot of effort and energy put into selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards because, like I said before, there's a bajillion easier things to sell than Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I do it because I love it, I love the game, and I do it with my boys. But if you are not willing to work the case, do not do it. And I will give you examples and ways to work the case later on in this video. So, the first thing that I think that you need to try to figure out is what you're going to buy. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to minimize variance. And minimizing variance is very, very important. So if you think that you're going to go out and you're going to buy a couple packs and you're going to flip those cards and you're going to be able to make money on it, you're not. Now, you might give me a million examples of you went out, you bought 5 packs of cards and you got the Magi and there you're able to make your money. Yes, that is positive variance. That's great. But for every positive variance, you're going to encounter 10 to 15 negative variances. Meaning that 10 to 15 times you're going to go out, you're going to buy those 5 packs, and you are not going to get value. Every once in a while you will. But variance is your enemy. Whether it's positive or negative, what you want is the least amount of variance as possible, because what that does is that enables you to sort of bank on something. The same thing applies with boxes. If you think that you're going to go out and you're going to buy 2 boxes and you're going to flip those cards and you're going to make money, you're going to run into too much variance. And again, variance is your enemy. You want stable, you want consistency. And the more variance in there, the more that you're going to lose. Because for every 1 to 2 positive variance, you're looking at a whole lot more negative variance. So yes, there are tons of examples of people going out, buying a box and getting Fiendsmith Engraver and one of the Whitewoods cards. Great. That's great. But that is not consistently going to happen to you. What will consistently happen to you is you will not hit your value. You will consistently come up short. So variance is your enemy. How do you minimize variance? It's pretty simple, but it's also quite difficult. Minimizing variance is buying cases. Cases minimize variance, and the more cases you buy, the more variance you're minimizing. So we're going to look at this through the lens of you buying 1 case of Yu-Gi-Oh! 1 set. You're going to buy an entire case of that. And that case is minimizing your variance. Because generally speaking, right now, in every case that you're buying, you're getting a certain amount of secrets, certain amount of ultras, certain amount of quarter centuries, certain amount of supers, certain amount of commons. That's how it works. Now, obviously, there are examples of people being gypped on secrets and gypped on quarter centuries, but by and large, that you know what you're getting in a case. And so that is minimizing your variance as much as can be. Now, again, a case is a small sample size. So even though I know for some of you, like a case might be like, oh my gosh, that is more Yu-Gi-Oh than I've ever bought at one time. That's more money than I've ever spent and at one time on Yu-Gi-Oh. And I get that because when we did this and I bought a case of King's Court, my first case, I was sick in my stomach. Like I had all those knots. I had all those terrible feelings. I was like, I just spent $900 on cardboard. I get that. But you can make your money back on a case. You can. Now, can you profit? That's another story. And it really depends on you being willing to work the case or not. I don't like losing money. So I will work a case to death. I will do everything I can to get every penny out of that case. But variance is what you want to minimize. I do not recommend buying anything less than a case to minimize the variance, preferably 3 cases. But I do realize that that is pushing about $3,000, and that's terrifying for many people. Or you might just not have the upfront money to do that. And I understand that. Don't put these things on your credit card. Don't spend your rent money just assuming that you're going to make this back. This should be money that you have on hand. Honestly, like that's too much gambling if you're doing it that way. So the first thing that I would recommend you doing is choosing a set. And this is really, really important because as you know, Yu-Gi-Oh players, not all sets are created equally, right? There are some bad sets. There are some good sets. What I've found generally is that the best sets to go in on are either core sets or amazing reprint sets. Those are the 2 best sets that to go into. So I would not do this with deck building sets. Those are the ones that give you the 3 new decks, generally with collector's rares in there. I would not do this with those sets. I would not do this with Battles of Legend sets. I would not do this with structure decks. I think that should be, I think that's obvious, but I would not be doing this with structure decks. I would be doing it with core sets and amazing reprint sets. What are amazing reprint sets? Well, Maven's was an amazing reprint set. Rarity Collection is an amazing reprint set. Now, Rarity Collection 1, I would have recommended you doing it. Rarity Collection 2, I'm on record for saying that I do not think that that was a good set. I do not think that that's not a set you want to do this with. It's too, the buy-in cost is too much. It's sitting on shelves right now for that very reason. What is in there is not worth the cost of buying into it. But there are 2 sets that are coming out that I would recommend you doing this on if you wanted to do this. First of all is the water set coming out, Rage of the Abyss, I think it is. This is shaping up to be a very good set. Now, you're a little bit late on doing it, so I wouldn't totally recommend it because of the cost to buy in. What you want to do is you want to figure out what the good set is and buy it right away. Because generally the cost of buying that case is less. As more reveals come out, the set, if it's good, will generally go up in price. Now, I haven't looked at Rage of the Abyss recently, but my assumption is that the set has gone up. The Quarter Century Bonanza. If the price of Quarter Century Bonanza is appealing, then that's a set that you might want to do this on. Generally, core sets, and what we've noticed in the core sets, there's 4 per year. The first 2 core sets in the year are generally not that great. That's just, yeah, that's just how the trends and the patterns have been. Could it be different next year? Yes. But generally, over the last 3 years, the core sets have not been great the first 2 out of the gate. The second 2, or the latter 2 in the year, have been the better core sets. So if you're looking at the core sets, I would be looking at the 3rd or 4th core set right now. Is that always the case? No. Duelist Nexus was the 3rd core set last year, and it was a total bust. But Age of Overlord was the 4th set, and it was pretty good. And going back the year before, you had Power of the Elements was the 3rd core set, pretty good. That was followed up by Darkwing Blast. What were the sets before that? Battles of Chaos, not very good. Cyberstorm Access, not very good. Dimension Force, not very good. Blazing Vortex, not very good. I mean, you can go back and you can see this trend. The 3rd and the 4th core sets have been the ones that have the most value. So I would be targeting the 3rd and 4th core sets to do this with, or an amazing reprint set. You don't want, picking the wrong set can completely destroy you. So be very, very careful on what sets you pick to do this on. But I would analyze a set and decide, okay, this is the set. This is a set that I think is very, very good. I'm going to buy a case of it. After you buy a case of it, your expenses are not over. So you have tons of other expenses. You have to buy top loaders. You've got to buy penny sleeves. You've got to buy regular sleeves. You've got to buy boxes if you need boxes. You've got to buy, what are they called? Bubble mailers. You've got to buy envelopes. You've got to buy all of this stuff. What you want to do in buying this stuff is you want to minimize cost per item. And the best way to do that is to buy in bulk. Now, does that make your upfront cost more? Yes. But you're getting more for less. So I highly recommend buying in bulk. Does it hurt spending $50 to $75 on top loaders when you could buy 25 for $6? Yes. But when you spend $50 to $75 on top loaders, you're getting 500 to 1,000 top loaders as opposed to 25 for $6. When you go out and you're buying envelopes at Walmart or Target, it is much better to buy these online and not get 100 per box, but 500, 1,000 per box. Same thing with penny sleeves. Don't buy penny sleeves for, 25 penny sleeves or 100 penny sleeves. Buy 1,000 at a time. And you can get these very easily on eBay and Amazon. They are your friends. Go on eBay, go on Amazon. I'm not going to show you where they're at because you don't need me to. Type in 1,000 penny sleeves and they'll all pop up. Type in 1,000 envelopes or 5,000 envelopes and they'll all pop up. On eBay, type in bubble mailers, 1,000 bubble mailers, 200 bubble mailers. They're all going to pop up. And they even give you the price per bubble mailer. And what you generally want to hit is 4 to 5 cents. 4 to 5 cents a piece. Because all of this cost is going to take away from your profits. So you want this cost to be as small as possible. So because your margins are very slim. They really are. When you're talking about buying a case and flipping it and turning it over, your margins are slim. So you want to buy in bulk. So buy all of these things in bulk, all of them. And have a place where you're storing all of that stuff. I buy my top loaders generally 500 or 1,000 at a time. I buy my envelopes, my bubble mailers, my penny sleeves. I try to buy everything 1,000 or more. And I think that should be your aim as well. And I try to get everything down to about 4 cents each thing. So 4 cents a bubble mailer, 4 cents an envelope, 4 cents for everything. Obviously, penny sleeves, I try and get them down to a penny. But you want to minimize your cost, and this is a great way to do it. So all of that stuff. The last thing on this is that realize that everything costs money. So it's every sale that you make costs money. There are eBay fees and TCG player fees, and they're different per site, and each of them have 2 different costs. So you have your cost per sale and your percentage. And generally your percentage is about 10 to 12% they're going to take. And generally your cost per sale is about 30 to 50 cents each. So every time you make a sale, TCG Player eBay's coming in, they're taking 30 to 50 cents of that right off the top. And then they're taking a percentage of what it costs. So if it's a $10 item, they're taking an additional 10 cents or 12 cents. So be aware that all of these fees add up. And then be aware that there are shipping costs. In eBay, your shipping cost, you can run it through eBay shipping, and you should, because you get a discount on shipping cost when you do that, and you get tracking. Through TCG Player, you don't have anything like that, so you're going to have to buy your stamps. Again, there are places you can buy your stamps in bulk, all that stuff. There are ways to minimize your cost. Look into those ways to bring your costs down. But this is one of the main areas where people fail. Because people will say, hey, I got, we'll just take a card like Fenrir, and they'll say, hey, I pulled Fenrir, it's $20 card, I sold it for $20, therefore I made $20. No, you didn't. You did not make $20 because eBay or TCG Player took their cut of that. And you've got to ship that item now, and that's costing you. You've got all the supplies that you got to use to send that out, and that's costing you. At best, you're walking away with $15. Probably like $14. And all this is really, really important because your margins are super thin. So the difference between $20 and $15 matters immensely. So cut your costs down, buy in bulk everything, and make sure that you're factoring in your cost. It's not just the cost of buying the product. It's the cost of shipping the product. It's the cost of packing up the product. It's the cost of just making a sale, because each of these sites is going to charge you just because you made a sale, because you're using their platform, because you've never would have been able to sell it had you not listed it on their site. So it's not bad of them to charge you for this because it's enabling you to sell, but you need to know that the cost is coming out, and it's coming out of your profits. So be aware of all the fees and all that sort of thing. Here's the other thing that I would recommend that I don't see many people doing, and that is, if I were you, and this is really the way that we've been able to do this, is that I would sell on both TCG Player and eBay, because you can do different things on both sites. And I maximize both sites to maximize my profits. So, first of all, if you're selling on both sites, it's maximizing your exposure. People are seeing you on eBay and on TCG Player, and I think that that's important. One thing that I would say is do not sell the same item on both sites. I have done it. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And because what you'll end up doing is you'll end up selling that one card that you have on both sites. And then you're going to have to apologize to your buyers. And this is what people who buy Yu-Gi-Oh! And do not sell, this is what they don't quite understand. Look, you're going to run into scummy sellers out there. That's just the reality of it. But not every time your order gets canceled, even if the card goes up, does that mean you ran into a scummy seller. Sometimes it means that the seller did something stupid, and now they have to deal with the consequences of doing that stupid thing. And the stupid thing that they do sometimes is they will list the same item on both sites. So what will happen is a card will spike up. And when the card spikes up, all the buyers are going in and they're buying that card on TCG Player and eBay. And so the card spiked up, everybody went in, they bought the card, but the person that listed the card, they only had one, and they listed one on eBay and TCG Player, and they sold them both. And now they're stuck. They're stuck with a dilemma of, I sold the one card I had on two sites. So essentially I sold that card twice, and now I'm going to have to cancel an order. So I would recommend selling on TCG Player and eBay, but not the same thing. There's a difference between the sites. So if you want to sell your cards fast, and you want to sell cheap cards, or you even expensive cards, and you want to sell them fast, TCG Player is your best friend. More people, more Yu-Gi-Oh players buy cards on TCG Player than anywhere else. It's the best chance for you to sell your cards the fastest. But there are things that you cannot do on TCG Player that you can do on eBay. And that is what I am recommending to you, is to use both sites. One of the things that I've already shared with you is your job is to work the case. Work the case as good as you can. Nothing is junk. Your job is to sell everything, because that is going to give you more and more profits. And again, I can't stress this enough. Your margins are thin. So you want to sell everything that you've got in that case. And your best friend in doing that is TCG Player and eBay. The reason that I recommend eBay is because you can sell deck cores on eBay. And deck cores really help you get the profits that you're looking for. So it enables you to sell cards that you wouldn't otherwise be able to sell. So I'll give you an example of this. This is a Gen X deck core right here. It's the entire core. The entire deck core. I can't remember what I sell this for. We've dropped the price several times. It's not a great deck core. When you pull these cards, you're not excited about pulling these cards. But you can sell these cards as a deck core, and a lot of people buy deck cores. You otherwise would probably not be able to sell these cards. But if you put them in a deck core, and you price that deck core really good, you'll be able to move this. You'll be able to sell all of these cards as this deck core because people are interested in playing this deck. It's enabling you to sell cards that would have just sat there. Now, I push this even further. You know, in the Gen X deck core, there are 2 secret rares in here. And the 2 secret rares are the Arms of Gen X Return 0, as well as the Repair. Okay? You're going to pull those cards, but you're going to pull the Ultras way more than you're going to pull these secrets. What I do is I take the secrets out, and right there, now I'll sell the Ultra deck core. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move as much as possible. So I took the 2 secret rares out because I don't have enough to sell a deck core. Now I'm just selling an ultra rare deck core because I have all the ultras. Maybe the entire deck core with the secrets is going for $12. Okay? But the ultra deck core without the secrets, I priced that at $5. You can sell this for $5 and people will come in and they'll buy it. You price it $4.99 and people will come in and they'll buy it. Now you might say, well, what's $4.99? They're getting all those cards for $4.99. Do you know how many of these you can sell? You can sell this deck core over and over and over and over again. And so what we've done with these ultra rare deck cores is, depending on how many cases you buy, but there have been times that I've made $100 on just ultra rare deck cores. And that makes it so that I'm maximizing my profit. And this is what I mean by working your case. This is not easy money. It's not, I'm gonna buy a case, I'm gonna list all the good cards from it, and I'm gonna make all this money. No, you're not. You're not gonna pull enough good cards out of that case to get more than your money back. Or you're not going to be able to do it on a regular basis. You're going to have to work the case. And working the case is selling deck cores. Selling deck cores with the secrets, selling deck cores with the ultras. We even sell common deck cores. We'll put together all, let's say a new set came out and you had Tri-Brigade cards in there. And you've got 4 different Tri-Brigade cards, and guess what? They're all commons. I'll put all those commons together. I'll take a picture of it. I'll put it online and I'll list that thing for $3.99, all the commons you want, or $2.99, and people will buy it. And yes, you're not making a ton of money, but you're making something. And that is how you make money on Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're making these sales over and over and over again. You're building up a clientele. I have people that buy from Go2 Cards before they'll buy from anywhere else. And every seller has this. They've had a good experience with them. They know them. They've built up a relationship with them. And so I'll have people send me an email saying, are you going to list this? Because I'm going to wait until you list it because I want to buy them from you. And we have that a lot. Or we'll have people say, I didn't see this on your listings, but I'm just wondering if you have this because I'd prefer to buy it from you. You build up that clientele, and how you build up the clientele is you make more and more sales. And you show people that you're reliable, that you're going to get them out fast. And another thing, ship fast. That the best way for you to have people come back and buy cards from you again is ship things fast and ship them securely. And then the last thing is answer their emails. For crying out loud, answer their emails. You can go back and you can look at our negative feedback on eBay. You can go back, you can look at our negative feedback on TCG Player. I don't actually think we have negative feedback on TCG Player. But on eBay, you can go back, you can look at that. And what you'll see is that 9 out of 10 times our negative feedback is, didn't answer my question. And that's on me. It's very, very easy to answer somebody's question. And so maybe I was super busy that week. Maybe I forgot that there was a question on there. There's a million things that can pop up that make it so that you don't answer somebody's question or somebody's concern. But that is the number one way to get negative feedback. If you answer their questions, if you alleviate their concerns, that takes away probably 90% of the negative feedback out there. Ship fast, ship securely, and answer their questions. It's as easy as that. When you're first starting out, you're probably not going to have a lot of orders. Ship daily. Ship out daily. If you're starting to get more and more orders, then ship out next day. The longest it should take is 2 days for you to get an order and that be at the post office. And all of this is really, really important. It's customer service and it matters. It matters immensely. So that's another part of it. But sell everything. Sell everything in that case, as much as you can. Move product. I tell Cohen all the time, we don't list cards, we sell cards. And you can go on eBay, you can go on TCG Player, and you can see a lot of sellers specialize in listing cards, not selling cards. Because what they'll do is they'll take this same deck core, and I have this deck core. Let's just say I have this deck core up there for $12.99. Okay? And they'll come up and they'll list this deck core for $25. Well, at that point, all you're doing is listing cards because you're not going to be selling that card. Because me and 5 other sellers have this for like $10 less than what you do. Don't list cards, sell cards. So price your cards at a good price and they will move. If you're pricing them up because you're like, well, I think it's going to go up and all this stuff, you're not going to be making sales. All you're going to be doing is spending time listing cards. Don't list cards, sell them. The last thing I want to say on this topic is sell everything and sell it fast. Sell it fast. Move it as quickly as you can. 90% of Yu-Gi-Oh cards are going to go down. And I know that you think that you're the specialist who has identified the card that's going to go up. You're going to lose. Sell everything and sell it as fast as you can. And in the long run, you will make money. Will you lose money sometimes on cards? Yes. I've lost money on plenty of cards. I lost money on Spellbounds. I thought that they were going to be super cheap. These are the secrets from, I think it was Darkwing Blast. I can't remember. But they're the secrets, the original print. We sold them cheap. They went up. I lost money on Fenrir. We sold them cheap. They went up. I lost money on Chaos Angel. We sold them cheap. They went up. See how easy it is for me to recall the cards that I've lost money on? Because it hurts. It hurts my soul. But doesn't matter. You lose money. You ship them out. You send them. You live to fight another day. Most cards, if you sell them fast, you're going to make money on it. Because they go down, and then they go down, and then they go down, and they keep going down. And the faster you can sell them, the more money you're going to make on that card. So list things competitively. And if you're just starting out and you're not a verified seller on TCG Player, you're probably going to have to list things under. You're probably going to have to make them cheaper than they actually are to get people to trust you, to get people to buy from you. Don't list them too cheap, though, because that scares people away. People really do go by the, if it looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So if you're not verified and a card is selling for $20, list it for $18. it's not a huge loss. You're going to lose $2 on the card, but you're going to make a sale. You're going to get some positive feedback, and you're going to be able to get verified faster. It's all in your benefit. But if you were to make that card, say, like, $13, $14, even $15, you might scare people away. It's too good to be true. So do that. Sell as fast as you can. Because in the long run, you're going to make more money. You're going to benefit by selling it faster. So there's that. No shipping. Now, I know on TCG Player, you might have to hit a certain level before you can offer free shipping. On eBay, you can offer free shipping right away. Do not put shipping on eBay. There are ways. It's very easy for people to sort out the shipping. So they can go on, they can click, look up these cards with no shipping. And people do it. People do not like paying shipping. And you can thank Amazon for this. Once Amazon came out and they said free shipping for everybody, and now you don't have to pay shipping, people do not like paying shipping. I don't like paying shipping. And oftentimes, if a card has shipping on it, I won't buy it. I want to pay for the card, not for the card to get to me. So as fast as you can, offer free shipping, and that will open up a whole new world to you. So I talked about customer service. A couple things that I do want to say about customer service, it matters immensely. When people come to you and they say, hey, my card was damaged, the best thing for you to do is offer them a refund. Now, I know it hurts. It does. It hurts a lot. But that's really the best. I mean, you can fight it all you want. Most of the time, eBay and TCG Player are going to side with the buyer. And so it's probably not in your benefit to fight it. Just offer them a refund. Oftentimes what you'll get is you'll get somebody who is very gracious and thankful, and they'll consider buying from you next time. You can fight it, but chances are you're going to have to give them a refund anyways. If they tell you it got lost in the mail, same thing. It's better to just give them a refund. And one thing that I will tell you, as a seller, as somebody who sends out a lot of cards every single day, the post office is terrible. That, first of all, they don't take any responsibility for any lost items or any damaged items. They just look at you and they say, well, did you insure it? And if you didn't insure it, you're toast. And if you insured every single item through the post office, you would be broke. So there's no sense in insuring things through the post office unless that thing, we insure things if they're $250 or more. If they're not, then we don't insure them, but we do put tracking on it. It's just a risk that you're taking. The post office is not going to help you. The second thing about the post office is they do damage things quite a bit, and they do lose things quite a bit. So as you're selling things, you're going to encounter that the post office is not all that you would hope that it would be. And that's just the reality of it. People are going to come back and they're going to say, I did not get my item. And the reality is, most of the time, the people are being honest with you. They didn't get it. And it wasn't your fault, and it's not their fault, but you're going to have to take the hit on that. The second thing is apologize. It's as simple as, I'm very sorry that happened. And a lot of, it's very easy to just jump out at people and say, bull, I don't believe you. That's garbage. I'm not doing this, because you're taking a financial hit. The best thing for you to do is apologize. I'm sorry that happened. What can I do to make it right? Answer all their questions, give refunds, apologize, build relationships. Build those relationships. It's not that it's hard to sell cards on eBay and TCG Player. It's hard to make a profit. And these are the best things that I have found to enable us to make a profit. And we do profit on this. Now, again, it doesn't pay our bills, but we do profit, and it enables us to do a lot of fun things, and it enables us to play Yu-Gi-Oh! For free. Yu-Gi-Oh! For Cohen and I is basically, it's 100% free. Now, the collectible cards and all that stuff, yeah, we spend our money collecting cards because it's our hobby. But we basically play the game for free because we sell the cards. And you can do this. But it just... Let me rephrase that. If you are a certain type of person, if you're organized, if you can handle a certain amount of risk, if you are somebody who loves gambling and you can deal with customer service and you're willing to put the work in, you can do this. And on a case, you can make $200. And if you buy 2 cases, you can expect to make $400. And if you buy 3 cases, you can expect to make $600. Now, will you make more than that sometimes? Yes. Will you make less than that sometimes? Yes. Will you sometimes take a hit? Yes, you will. But your average should be that I make $200 per case per set. That's your aim. Now, if that's not enough for you, if that's not enough, and I get it, if that's not enough of a takeaway, then don't do this. Because that is what we have found in selling cards and in talking to other sellers. It is not this lucrative job that sellers have. Their profits are very, very thin. But you can make a profit doing something that you love. And if you love it enough, then I highly recommend it. I find great joy in doing this. The other thing that I do want to say is, I'm available. If you've got questions, send me an email. If you've started out doing this and you're like, I can't quite figure this part of it out, leave me a message on YouTube. Send me an email. I love helping people sell cards. I love helping people buy cards. I love helping the community do this game in a way that makes it cheaper. I'm willing to help. Now, if I'm bombarded with the, how do I do this questions and all this, obviously I'm not going to be able to answer. But if you've got a question or two, I'm not opposed to, answering a couple questions. I love doing it. It's why we started the channel, and it's why we sell cards. We want to sell cards at good prices, good cards at good prices to good people. We really want to do that. And so I hope this was helpful. There's not everything that I can go over, but these are some of the things that I think are really important. Being realistic. Understanding the importance of customer service. Understanding, let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Understanding how important it is to choose the right set, all the supplies, all the cost involved. But if you factor in all of that, it can be a lot of fun. I enjoy it immensely. That's what I got for you today. My name is Todd from Go2 Cards, and I am out of here.